Let me set everything
Those
up.
are my clients. I was with
Okay.
before I talk with you guys. So
Good morning. I am Heather Kelly with the Small Business Development Center at Rockford Chamber. I'd like to welcome everyone this morning. Uh, for those of you, to get you familiar with us, we are part of the Small Business Development Center SBDC network throughout Illinois and the nation that provides information, confidential business guidance, and training and other resources to existing and small businesses. And on the call today, we have our director, Edward Caceres. Good morning, Edward. So if you're looking for guidance or assistance with budgets, business planning, marketing, activities, or human resources, we here at the Illinois SBDC at Rockford Chamber are here to assist you. So a couple of things before we begin. We will have our speaker present, and then we will take Q&A after she's done with her presentation. So with that, I would like to introduce our topic today is access to capital and coaching. Mary Tritzis for the Allies for Community Business. And I will turn it over to Mary.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you very much. And thank you, Edward, for including Allies for Community Business. My name is Mary Tritzis. I am the Director of Community Business here at Allies. Our actual origination of the organization started in 1994 as Acción. So many of you may know us as Acción, serving Illinois and Indiana. And on January 27th of this year, we just had a relaunch of a new brand. Same people, same faces, same delivery of services and products, but we are now Allies for Community Business. So thank you again for including us here. A little bit about myself. I am from Chicago, so not too far from you guys. And I have 30 years of banking experience running retail banking for 2 separate banks. And I am also very involved with Lurie Children's Hospital on their foundation board. And so in July of 2019, just a couple of years ago, Allies, again, formerly Acción, had looking for a director of lending. And so with my passion of the banking industry and finance and for nonprofit, it was just such a great fit to be able to really help the small businesses who are looking for access to capital and coaching. Let's talk a little bit about what Allies does. Our vision is that entrepreneurs from any background could really start and grow their business. We're looking for them to create this generational wealth for their families within their communities. And again, I think the key word is that from any background, because we are here to help everyone with coaching and capital and collaboration. And our mission is that we provide those 3 segments to entrepreneurs to really help them grow not just their businesses, but really great businesses within their communities. Last year was a very productive year for Allies. With the pandemic, we were heavily involved with many of the grant and emergency loan programs. We dispersed $400 million of grant and loans to businesses in Illinois and Indiana. And that was 15,000 businesses that we coached, either in a one-on-one coaching session or in group sessions. And we funded 22,000 businesses. And so Allies, as we go through this presentation today, we are anticipating having some additional programs that will really help through the pandemic, getting us past this pandemic and getting businesses back to being solid and on their feet. Capital is really the loans that we offer here at Allies for Community Business. And what we do is really simple. We offer loans as low as $500 and we go up to $100,000. And we segment our clients into 3 stages. We segment them into the early stage, which is a startup business, an emerging stage, which is an established business between 2 to 5 years. I'm sorry, an emerging is 2 to 5 years, and then an established business, which is really that who has been in business for over 5 years. And then we also offer grants where we manage many grant programs. We work with various different partners. Again, last year, we were very heavily involved with Governor Pritzker's office and Mayor Lightfoot's office to provide many grants to help small business owners really put those dollars into good use. And the best thing about a grant is that a grant is free money, and we'll talk more about that throughout the presentation. So a little overview of what we do. We offer both term loans and lines of credits. And again, as low as $500 up to $100,000. And we help all small businesses throughout the state of Illinois and Indiana. That is our target territory. But we are slightly different than lenders, and coming from a banking background, we all know that sometimes financial institutions have minimums where our minimum in lending is $500. And what's different about us is that we no longer look at a credit score. So we don't say you're a 720 and we're going to give you this, or you're a 580 and we're going to give you that. But instead, what we do is we look at your overall behaviors of your credit. And we also no longer put liens looking for collateral on the personal assets. Instead, we look at 2 years of how you've managed your debt overall by pulling a credit history. And then we look at the cash flow. We want to make sure that the small business owner is responsible and has the ability to make the payments to repay the loan of what they are requesting. We can approve loans as fast as 24 hours for eligible borrowers, but then we also have a follow-up process. We have loan officers that will be assigned to every applicant, and there may take a little bit of time to get to close. Our interest is a flat 9%, and we charge only a 1% in closing costs, which means that you'll be approximately 10%, slightly higher than a bank, but we are definitely much lower than a credit card or a online lending predator. Sometimes, as we know, those rates could be as high as 20, 30, 40, 60, 70% APR. And again, our standard term is 24 months. So a 2-year for the term loan, and a line of credit is an interest-only loan. We'll talk a little bit further how to apply, but it's very simple. You go to our website, which is a4cb.org/loans. So a small business owner may be wondering, how do I get a loan under $25,000? And we have been very transparent with our credit policy. This is all on our website. The first thing we do is we take a look at the credit bureau. And we want to know that over the last 2 months, have you had any bankruptcies? And have you had any collection items larger than $500? If the answer is no, we go to the next step. Over the last year, have you been paying your trade line items on time, just over the last year? And then the third criteria, what Allies looks at, is do you have at least 25% available to borrow on your revolving lines of credit? So that's pretty much your credit card debt. If the answers are yes to that, then we will automatically, through the system, give you a loan offer, which is 1.5 times the largest amount that you have borrowed over the last year. And we don't look at student loans because the availability for student lending is much different. And that's how you can easily get a loan under $25,000 through Allies. Let's just say you do not fit the criteria for those 3 bullets in what we call a step 1. We do have the ability for you as the borrower to provide one of 3 ways to get to yes in terms of a loan borrowing amount. You can either provide your tax returns, your bank statements, or your financial statements. And if you can meet the criteria in one of those three, you can also be eligible for a loan under $25,000. And it's as simple as that. Now, for those clients that possibly have some damaging credit, we want to help those borrowers build their personal credit. And because our loans are personal guaranteed, which means that they are listed on their credit report, we have what we call a credit builder loan. It's for those that maybe have bankruptcies recent, for those that probably have collection items greater than 500. Maybe you've had a couple of late payments over the last year. We want to help build your credit to getting an installment loan and getting your credit score back up. And the goal would be that once you get your credit score back up, you can go back to your financial institution, as we align ourselves with many banks throughout the state of Illinois, and get your credit back up. And those loans are, again, under $2,500. We work with each borrower individually so that you can build your credit. What if a client is looking for loans between $25,000 and $100,000? The step one criteria is exactly the same as if you're looking for under $25,000. You must have no bankruptcies over the last 2 years and no collections greater than 500. You must have your trade line items repaid within the last year. And you must have at least a 25% availability on your revolving lines of debt. However, for loans that are over $25,000, rather than the step two being one of the three criterias for the financial statements, you must meet all three of the criterias, which is the tax return, debt to service coverage at 1.25. We look at your debt to income ratio through an evaluation of your bank statements, 35% or less. And then we look at a debt service coverage of your financial statements. So there's a little bit more work that is put into approval of over 25,000, but the key here is that we're not asking for collateral. The only collateral we do is a UCC filing against the name of your business. So where other lenders may be looking for a home or an automobile or anything like that, Allies does not do that, which differentiates us into the marketplace. Coaching. We provide one-on-one coaching at no cost to any business in the state of Illinois and Indiana, free. You do not have to be an Allies loan client. You just have to be a small business or even have an idea to being a small business. So startups, you've got this idea, and small businesses are again booming since COVID. You come to us, we have professional teams that will work with you to put together a business plan, to put together projections, to put together, marketing plans, social media, how to utilize social medias. There are 40 steps, in fact, of our coaching that we help for all small businesses. And we also have group coaching that you can go on our website. And this is a perfect example of one of our group coaching sessions where we are here in a group forum to be able to talk about a little bit of the services that we offer. As I mentioned earlier, we have our business stages that are into three categories. We have an early stage business. That could just be an idea that you have. That could be a startup business preparing to launch. We provide one-on-one coaching for our early stage businesses. We also have a team that's dedicated for emerging businesses. A little bit more in depth about business operations. How do I get my business to the next level and to grow? And how do I improve my financial on this? Excuse me. Lastly, we have established businesses, which Oh my God, my apologies. Lastly, we have established businesses which participate in collaboration of our established coaching team. We can help you attract outside investors, and we could really help plan for succession or acquisition of your business. And you to schedule a free coaching session. Again, it's as simple as going on our website, a4cb.org/schedule. The last is collaboration. We are located in the Hatchery, which is in East Garfield Park, and we have kitchen space that I'm going to talk a little bit about further. We are also one of the alliances with the City of Chicago to provide licensing for small businesses throughout the City of Chicago. And we have a procurement division that we really help those that are seeking to secure women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses certifications. A little bit about the kitchen space and where we are. So I call it's a Google-esque building, built just a couple of years ago. Again, in East Garfield Park, 70,000 square feet. And we have 54 private kitchens that you can either lease by the day, the week, the month, or the year. We also we are home to Chef Rick Bayless and his cohort that has an Impact Culinary 12-week program to those that are looking as a paid internship, moving and preparing them to get a restaurant positions. We also work with the Garfield Park Neighborhood Market. And we are also part owners of the hatchery with ICNC, which is another nonprofit that helps adult training, job placements, everything that is related to kitchen, food and beverage businesses. Our licensing, again, this is for the City of Chicago, and I know you guys are about 90 minutes away. However, we are one of 8 business centers that is helping small businesses obtain their city licenses. And what's really important, as I had mentioned before, is our procurement. We have dedicated staff to help those that are looking to get certification for procurement. And again, those free coaching sessions are also on our website. So how do you partner with us? Learning more about who we are is on our website, a4cb.org. Applying for a loan is very simple, and applying for a coaching session, again, all free. We have a refer an entrepreneur. So any partner that wants to partner with us can refer to us a client, and within 24 hours, they will get a call back from one of our business allies. And you can also follow us at allies4cb and support us on our donation page. And so with that, Heather, I'm happy to open it up to questions from our participants.
Are there any questions out there?
I have one, Mary. Sometimes a few of our business, for example, in the case of Teresa and Elvia, they are planning to open a solar business anytime soon in the future. I saw that most of the successful solar companies in California, they work closely with financial institutions. So in that way, for example, they can find out a client that fit perfectly well in the profile. They can refer to that client to the lender in a kind of win-win relationship. If the lender approved the loan, they got their contract and everyone is happy, basically. Do you work with companies in that way too?
So we have resources and alliances with many different organizations. And so if there's a particular business that we possibly, I don't know if I know of a coaching client through that industry, but we would never say no. We have an array of additional partners that we would work with to make sure we can refer that person, if we can't help them, to a different partner so that they can fulfill the needs that they're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes some companies, small companies are looking, to develop some kind of lenders network. So in that way, one of the issues for some industries is how you are going to pay for the services or goods that you are going to buy. So sometimes they working with local banks, and it depends of the client. They refer this client to that lender, and if they approve the loan, they got the money, for make the sale. The lender have the loan, and the customer finally get what they were pursuing, a service or goods. So that's why I'm asking, because some small companies asking how they can overcome this situation, because financing always is an issue, and especially, for example, for an industry like solar, that is a kind of newcomer in the area. And a lot of lenders don't know about lending on solar. They are still thinking, and happen because there is some banks in the area that they still don't get it, how the solar installation works. They are still asking for the collateral and other things, and that's why my question.
So solar is not on one of our quote unquote, should I say, taboo areas to lend to. And so we welcome anybody that is interested in access to capital to apply with us. What's great about our lending program is that we look at the pioneer, especially under 25,000, we look at the financials of the individual. Remember, we look strictly off of the credit bureau. So we don't need to have projections of the business. When you get over 25,000 through the 100,000, that's when we're going to be scrutinized a little bit further in terms of what the tax returns and the bank statements and the financial statements have. But remember, any loan under 25,000, we first look at the credit bureau. And if that personal credit bureau fulfills, they will get a loan offer of 1.5 times their highest revolving debt that's currently on their credit bureau. So it's a little different than a bank, because a bank, you're right, is looking for like the business plan and all that. We don't do that, especially under 25,000.
Okay. Another question. I'm sorry if I got many questions for you. But what about those that are pursuing some kind of business in the medical marijuana industry? Is something that you work with them, or is it one of these taboo areas that you don't work with?
Yeah, unfortunately, if the purpose of the loan is to grow the cannabis, that is unfortunately not eligible as per our credit policy. We have worked with consultants that are looking for a loan to help the cannabis industry, but the purpose of the loan is not to grow the cannabis. So we have worked with certain areas.
What about those that want to resell, like at the medical dispensaries? They are not.
Unfortunately, we don't. Yeah.
Okay,
don't.
I just want to be sure, because lately I got 3 clients that they were asking, and they were struggling precisely to get financing for that industry. Even in the SBDC, we can work with them. We can help them if it's CBD or other things, but not with medical marijuana.
Same with us. Yeah. Great question, though. Great question.
Okay, that was my last question. Teresa, Elvia, do you have, Roy, any other question for Mary?
Oh.
Teresa, no se te escucha. Your microphone is off, Teresa.
Hello?
There she is.
Now?
Yep, yes. We can hear you now.
Could you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. When she was explaining to give loans to people that are just starting the business, he said that, so they said they're gonna treat the loan like a basically loan that you go at a bank, and they go towards your, what do you call this? Your credit score and all that, right?
If it's below 25,000, yes.
Okay, so, and if it's greater than that, it will be on the business, right?
Okay.
Because she said that you need bank statements and all that. So it's like a typical loan that you could go to the neighborhood bank and ask. Now, my question is, if they're going to go through all that, why is it 9% flat interest?
So those are very good questions, Teresa. So let me just clarify.
No, this is Lucy. It's not
Oh,
Teresa.
Lucy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
My apologies. I saw the name
No
on the
problem.
So those are great questions. So first of all of our loans have a personal guarantee. And that means that whether you're under 25,000 or you're over 25,000, it will be reflected on your person. It has to be a business loan, but it will be a personal guarantee on your personal credit. And that's for all of our loans. The difference with us versus a financial institution is such that a financial institution normally and typically doesn't look at many loans under 50 or 100,000. And we do. The other difference is that we will not look at just a credit score. So we take a little bit more risk. So we have clients that are in the 5s and the 600s.
Okay.
Where we look at the behaviors of your credit bureau to get to an approval. And if for some reason your personal credit cannot dictate to get a loan, we have alternatives with your tax returns or your bank statements. So that is different than a financial institution, because a financial institution looks at a credit score, and a financial institution for a small business, it has to be at least most often in business for at least 2 years. We
Correct.
are looking at startup businesses, and we help those that may have a little bit more of a, if there's an issue with their credit, we are okay with that, because we want to help the underserved small business and not just look at them as a number, which is the number on their credit, their FICO score.
Right. So let me stop you right there. I'm a little confused, because if you're going to go by that, then the rate should matter. Because if you're going to go by the credit, the FICO, okay, it should go according to the FICO. If I got 550 and somebody goes in there with 680, and we provide all the information and everything you need, why would I be, okay, I could understand me being stuck with the 9%, but why would the other person be stuck with the 9%?
So, and that's a great question. We say that we're an alternative to a financial institution. If you can go to your bank and you can get a loan from them at 5 or 6%, we believe that that is always your first choice. You should always go to your financial institution. If your financial institution, however, cannot give you that loan, that's why we partner with so many banks in the area, because we don't want clients going online to the online predator. So your first choice, you're absolutely right, should be go to your bank. But if your bank can't help you, then we say come to Allies for Community Business, because we're your second choice. So you're absolutely right. You can get financing that's cheaper and better pricing. Absolutely go to your financial institution. But as an alternative, come to Allies for Community Business, because we are not an online predator that is charging 30, 40, 50, and those very high APRs.
So another question. So if for some reason I'm qualified for 25,000, how do you determine if it's going to be only interest, or is it going to be a long-term loan? How do you determine, because of the taxes, the credit, or the business? How do you determine that? Or do we as clients have the option?
Another great question. Thank you. So the purpose of the loan will determine if you're going to be a candidate for a line of credit or an installment loan. So if you are purchasing, for instance, a piece of equipment, if you're a trucker and you're purchasing a truck, we will be offering an installment loan, which is a 24-month, our standard term. Okay. If you're looking, however, that you want to pay vendors in and out throughout the year, you have receivables and payables, and the money is constantly moving out, we will then suggest a line of credit, which is interest only for the first year. And then after year 1, we will be terming out the line of credit to a 2-year installment loan at the balance of your outstanding principal balance at the 12-month period.
I have another question. So let's just say because of the coronavirus, now not everybody thinks as I do, but I believe that anything could happen, right? So I go in along with you guys, and it's for what do you say, a year? Was it a year?
24 months is standard term.
So 24 months, and something happened on the 24 months. Am I able to refinance the loan, or do I have penalties, or how would that work? I'm pretty sure with your experience, with all my respect, you ought to know situations might come like that. What happens if that happens?
So we, first of all, do not have any prepayment penalties. So if you get a loan from us and 30 days later you want to pay us off, there is no prepayment penalty.
Okay, but if something happens and I'm not even able to fulfill my promise on the 24 months, what happened? What is it that you offer after that? Let's say something happened.
So we do have the ability with clients to be able to restructure loans.
Okay.
If you're looking to refinance a loan, what we ask is that you are at least halfway through the term period. So if you have a 24-month term loan and you want to refinance to either get more, we would ask that you do it at month 13, which is, halfway through the term loan. And if you are in a, let's just say, a debt constraint or a cash flow constraint ability, then we do have a team where you can work with us, and we will work with you to be able to restructure the loan. We do not want, and that's why we don't want anyone to foreclose on the loan. We don't want someone's credit to be ruined. So we want to work with clients to be able to help them if they have a dire situation.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, you explain everything. Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Great questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
Any other questions?
Quiero preguntarle si tengo que entonces mejorar mi línea de crédito. Aunque sea una compañía, ellos van a revisar mi crédito personal.
Correcto.
Uh-huh. Sí, que si puedo.
Do you want to ask something else?
Sí, mira, Elvia está, dile a él, Elvia.
Estoy aquí preguntándoles que si me escuchan.
Sí, I'm going to translate for her, Mary, okay?
Okay. Quiero preguntarles porque estamos creando la compañía, entonces yo tengo que mejorar mi línea de crédito, aunque no vaya a estar la compañía a mi nombre, sino bajo una corporación, tengo que mejorar mi línea de crédito, ¿verdad?
¿Está mala o está buena?
Mala.
Okay. Mary, Elvia is asking, they are going to create a legal entity, a LLC or S Corp for their business. She's asking if in order to make the things run smoothly, and if every member that is going to be in this new legal entity, LLC or S Corp, must get a really good credit score.
So when you
the members, the members have to be in a really good standards, or if the case that one of the members probably have a not really good credit, they need to improve their credit before apply as a business to work with you, or is something that is handled in a different way?
So very good question. So all borrowers that own 20% or more of the company must become a borrower on the loan. So let's just say you have somebody who owns less than 20%. They are not obligated to become a signer / borrower on the loan.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
Okay, ella lo que está diciendo es básicamente que si tú o cualquiera de la compañía tiene más de 20% de ownership, que son dueños de la compañía, vamos a suponer que son 4 personas y cada uno tiene 25% del ownership de la propiedad de la compañía. Si es más del 20%, están requeridos a firmar en el documento que van a hacer con el banco y obviamente tu crédito tal vez tendría que mejorar. Esa es la primera parte de lo que está diciendo. Okay, I explained that, Mary.
Okay, the second thing is that once you are over 20% owner of the business, we will look at everybody's credit score. However, we will try to make a fair evaluation depending if the person who maybe has the poor credit is the primary business owner or they're a minority business owner.
Okay. Una cosa que ellos también evalúan es un poco caso por caso, es de que vamos a suponer, Elvia, que tú no eres la socia mayoritaria. Vamos a suponer que son 4, pero un miembro tiene 40%, el otro 40%, Teresa tiene 10% y tú tienes 10%.
Ajá.
En ese caso, básicamente lo que ellos hacen es evalúan si tú eres una de las socias mayoritarias, definitivamente van a exigir que tengas buen crédito. Pero si tú eres una de las socias minoritarias, ellos pueden balancear a la hora de la evaluación para aprobar el loan, si es que realmente eso va a afectar o no, ¿no? Entonces, esa sería la segunda parte de tu pregunta. Ok.
So
Dime.
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Ok.
So in all the programs that they don't have nothing to help somebody build their credit. And another thing, do they work with only Social Security or could they work with the ITIN number?
Great questions. We actually do loans with ITIN clients. So thank you for asking that question. And in the presentation, we actually have, I think I mentioned it, called the Credit Builder Program, which is a credit builder loan. It's under $2,500. So let's just say somebody has no credit or has damaging credit.
All right.
That credit builder program is perfect for somebody to build their credit and do an installment loan, even if it's $500, $1,000, $2,500. Because in the world of building your credit bureau, as long as you're making payments on time on the installment loan, it doesn't matter if it's $1,000 loan or a $10,000 loan. They're looking for the behaviors that making a payment month to month on time. So we do have that program, and it's eligible for anybody's ITIN or Social Security numbers. Our ITIN clients are able to apply up to our credit limit of $100,000. And so we don't differentiate between ITINs or Social Security number clients.
Okay, another question. What credit, what FICO do they need to have in order to even qualify for one of those credit builders program that you have?
We don't look at FICO scores. We are not looking at FICO scores at all. We are looking, and if I go back to my presentation here, let me just review this one more time. So we look to see, and if you look over here on the left, step
credit
one.
builders. Okay, I got it. No,
right.
Another.
So we don't look at your score. We don't care if you're, a 550 or, a 720. We say, have you had bankruptcies over the last 2 years? If the answer is no, great. Do we look at collections? And we don't look at collections at the small ones. We just want to look at anything that is netted over $500. And all we look at is, are you making your payments on time for the last 12 months? So a lot of our clients have had bankruptcies, but we don't, like financial institutions, maybe look at the last 5 years or 7 years. We just want it greater than 2 years. So if you've had a bankruptcy in 2018, we're okay with that. If you're starting to rebuild your credit, that's the client that we're here to help. And lastly, so you have your bankruptcy and your collections, you have your last 12 months, making sure everything is paid on time. Do you have 25% available on your revolving lines of credits? And then you get a loan offer. And this is all on our website.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's basically it. Does anybody have any other question? ¿Tú tienes una pregunta? No? I think that's it. You answer everything. Thank you. Thanks a
You're
lot.
welcome. Thank you. You've been great.
Looking forward to work with your company.
Yeah, and I'll give you my information here. Feel free to call me directly. There's a
Okay.
way to apply online, but I am available. That phone number is the office number that now, since we are all working remote, goes directly to my cell phone. You call me anytime. I get calls on Saturday afternoons. There's my email address. Yes, take a copy of it. Happy to answer.
That's a lot easier for me than be
Good.
writing.
Nobody take notes anymore, I know.
Well, it's a lot easier and it's there. Sorry, kind of lazy here.
No
And I
problem.
can share this presentation with Heather and Edward, and they're happy to share it with all the recipients on this call.
Thank you. I
Please
really
do.
appreciate
We
your
will
help.
share that with them. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
The other
Okay.
thing I just want to mention, because we do have a grant program, and because you were speaking Spanish, we are working with PepsiCo and have a grant program starting at the end of May. And it is designed for Latino food and beverage businesses. So I encourage you guys to go on our website and look for that link. I believe it's going to start May 25th.
Okay.
Because that is for the Latino community food and beverage.
Mary, do you think that you can share some information in advance with me, because we launch every Monday a newsletter that reach all our community, entrepreneur community. So if you can send me that, I can start promoting that from now. So in that way, the people will be expecting and you get more attention probably to that link.
We're talking with PepsiCo today. We finalized everything, but that is going to be a $2 million grant. And so it's, we welcome it. It's actually going to be a national grant, working with 13 different cities, but I'm not sure of the eligibility, but I just want to make sure that I'm going to share it with you. And if your community is eligible, we want to make sure that we're supporting you.
Perfect.
Thank you. We'll be looking forward to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. Thanks a lot. See you soon. See you next week.
See you next week.
All right.
Gracias.
Next
Hasta
week.
luego. Hasta el next week.
Next week, we have media buying for small businesses. So we will be sending that email out. It will go out at noon today. So be sure and sign up for it. And follow us at Rockford SBDC on all the social channels, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. With that, have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Very much for your time and your questions.
Thank you, Mary. We
Thank you.
really
Bye-bye.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Girls.